Shoots and Scores Hockey Talk, where we talk everything hockey. I am John.
I'm Mike.
I'm Chris.
All right, gentlemen, let's go. Now, we got an awful lot to go over here tonight. I wanted to try and stick mainly to Canadian teams tonight.
Oh, boo, boo. People are like dropping off the podcast right now. They're just like, click.
Well, next week we'll do something a little different. So I know I was supposed to go over something else this week, and I couldn't remember what the heck it was. I got so busy and
Oh, yes.
doing
Well,
this.
yes. I mentioned two players, and we should have a discussion about their potential, I guess, how they're doing today and their potential. But we'll save that for
That's
next
right.
week.
We'll save that for next week. All right. First topic. The Senators missed a massive chance to be tied for 8th spot in the conference on Tuesday night against Florida. Florida, who has not played well. Now, Ottawa 6-3-1 in their last 10, but they've lost 3 in a row, which really sucks for them. Florida scored on their first 2 shots on net. The first one 8 seconds in. I saw that play. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it just looked like they totally lost track of what they were doing. And they lost 6-3, and they just didn't look good. And Ottawa has 4 or 5 defensemen that are injured right now. Is it now time to bail on Ottawa making the playoffs? Remember now, Ottawa tonight, they play Buffalo. Chris, let's start with you. What do you think? Is it time to just say, yeah, I know Ottawa's only 2 points back, but they've lost 3 in a row. These defensemen are all injured.
It's very tight. It's still very. I don't think you can really eliminate anybody yet because it takes 2 losses by one team and 2 wins from another team. I did switch over to that game, and I saw it was 2-0, 2 minutes in or something like that. I'm like, ooh, that's not a good start. And I assumed it was Reimer in nets, and it wasn't. It was Ullmark. I was like,
it was Ullmark, yes. It's got to be one of the worst games he's played all year, I would think.
Yeah. I did see highlights a couple of those goals. And I think Carter Yarmachuk, I might have got that wrong. Defenseman, he also got hurt in that game and left. Yeah. He's out now. So, yeah, they're definitely hurting on the back end. But he's, like I said, it's ebbs and flows, right? Some teams are winning, some teams are losing. Sure, it's not good for Ottawa's chances, but they still got a good forward group. They just need some goaltending, and maybe it's the defenseman that can do something for them. With Detroit, we kind of talked about a month or two ago how Detroit's stats didn't look very good, right? And the second half, they're starting to come down, and they're starting to play to that level because Sider's not saving them anymore. So that could be one less team that Ottawa has to worry about. But yeah, they still got to catch Columbus, and at this point, I can't remember 2 weeks ago. You asked me about who's in and who's out, and I said Philly was 5%. Philly all got up to 50% there until they lost the last game or two, and now I think they're back down to 20% or something like that. But they went from 5 to 50, so things can change pretty quickly with 2-3 games, or actually 4 games a week now to finish the season off. So I wouldn't stick a nail in them yet and say they're dead, but yeah, tonight against Buffalo, it's a must-win to stay in the hunt, right? You don't want to fall behind multiple teams trying to catch that last spot.
You fall behind multiple teams by multiple points, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think? I mean, the reason why I asked this question, and I know it's close, but after they won a bunch of games in a row, now they've lost some games in a row, and they look so horrible that night. Ullmark looked terrible. I don't know what they were doing. All these defensemen injured. What do you think?
Well, I mean, like Chris said, it's hard to write them off just yet because there's so many teams that are so close there. In the games the other night, Ottawa lost, Columbus lost, Philly lost, Detroit lost, the Islanders lost. All these teams that are trying to keep a spot all lost, except Boston. Boston was the only team that won. Obviously, Washington won because they beat the Flyers, but it's really too close to say right now. I wouldn't have thought Philly would be back in this race whatsoever, but they are, and they've got a big game against Detroit tonight. So one of these two teams is getting 2 points. So if Ottawa loses to Buffalo and one of these two teams win, then they are going to pass Ottawa. So, it's all going to come down to these games that are against your own conference and your own division at this point here. So it's going to be difficult for, you know, any of these teams to be completely eliminated probably until the last week of the season. So they're all
Yeah.
still in the race. As far as Ottawa goes, the goaltending clearly has to be better than what they showed the other night against Florida. I
Did
mean,
you see
Florida,
any of that, Mike? Did you see any of the
I
highlights?
didn't see much. I just seen the highlights, but I mean, Florida's basically got an AHL team on the go there right now. So many guys out of the lineup. I mean, Matt Tkachuk basically put the team on his back in that game. I think he had 4 points in that game. So aside from Tkachuk and Seth Jones and Verhage, I mean, those are the only NHL guys. I'll use that term lightly, but playing for them right now. I mean, they don't have, Barkov obviously is gone for the year. Reinhardt's out for the rest of the season. Lundell's hurt. Ekblad's hurt. They played the backup goalie, and he still won. So I don't know. It's you can't write any of those teams out yet. After this weekend, maybe when we do our show next week, we'll probably see one or two of these teams drop out at that point.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go on to our second topic.
Just to kind of add to that, because I just took a
Sure.
quick look at the standings again. And again, the team that seems like they've solidified a spot now is Boston.
Right.
Don't tell me how they're doing. Them and Montreal continue to win, while everyone else is like win couple, lose couple, win couple, lose couple. So it's looking like one spot for 5 teams.
2.
Right. So it's
2 spots.
The last spots for 5 teams.
The last spot in the Atlantic, or not the Atlantic, in the Metropolitan.
Well, let's say the Islanders hold on, then yes, there's one wild card spot. But the Blue Jackets and the Islanders are fighting for that one. So yeah, I guess you could say 2 for 5.
The Flyers are fighting for that one too.
Exactly, that's what I said. It's a lot of teams fighting for. Looks like one wild card spot, but yes. I guess there's a one metro spot or 2 metro spot or 1 metro spot available too. So it's it's still like in Washington with the 3 wins or right back into it again. It doesn't take too much to get back into it, but it's going to take a lot to actually jump 3 or 4 teams and get in, right? And
that's right.
And Montreal and Boston are kind of solidifying themselves. I still don't get Boston, but it is what it is.
All right. Well, our second topic tonight is on the other end of the spectrum, the exact opposite of Ottawa lately, is the aforementioned Montreal Canadiens. Now, they've won 6 in a row, and they are looking pretty good doing it. The exact opposite of Ottawa, beating a really good Tampa team on Tuesday night 4-1. Now, Caufield scored goal number 47. He's 3 back of McKinnon. Could they win the division? 2 back of Tampa, 4 back of Buffalo, with a game at hand with the Sabres. Is this even possible, guys?
Well, I mean, like we were saying with those wild card spots, it can change from one day to the next. It's so close. I mean, yeah, they're hot. It's possible, but I know when we talked last week, I had said that I thought Tampa was still going to be the team to win that division, and I still think that Tampa is.
You're going to stick with that?
I'm going to stick with Tampa Bay to win the division, and then Montreal and Buffalo to play each other. I was watching one of the sports shows today, and they were analyzing that a little bit, saying which team would be the best team for Montreal to play against, Tampa or Buffalo. And they brought it up because, Montreal just beat Tampa Bay, and the analysts that were talking pretty much all agreed that Buffalo is probably the better matchup for them, more so because of the playoff experience that Tampa has. It might be, and the goaltending. Whereas, obviously Vasilevsky's the number 1 goalie in the league, and Buffalo's kind of flip-flopped between Lyon and Luukkonen, so not even sure who they're going to go with as their starter in the playoffs. I would assume it would be Luukkonen, but might be whoever's hot at the time. So, but yeah, Montreal has a shot for sure, and just because they're so close, but I still think it's Tampa's division to lose.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, Montreal.
Well, you never would have
I'm
thought that
surprised you
they'd
didn't
be.
mention the 2 wins against Carolina, right? They beat Carolina twice. They beat Tampa.
No, we
Um,
already did that, so I didn't want to touch on that again. Get you
oh,
all
you didn't want to
upset.
go over. Well, let's go over some of the, like. Let's go over some of the latest stats, right? Let's not this their goalie Doobies or Dobies or whatever the heck his name is. Let's check his save percentage in the last 5 games, shall we?
Sure.
973, 971, 962, 953, and 926. I did the
That's
math
pretty
for
That's
good.
everybody at home.
sustainable.
That's pretty
Okay.
good.
I did the math at home for everybody. That's 957 save percentage, right?
Average.
I believe his save percentage last year was 909, and right now it's 903, even after those 5 glorious games. If anybody thinks this is, the Montreal Canadiens are at that level, they're fooling themselves. All right, they're really, really fooling themselves. Um, I'm assuming they're using up all their luck right now, and come playoff time, it's going to crash and burn very quickly for the Habs, no matter who they play, Buffalo or Tampa Bay. And then for you boy Cole Caufield, let's see. Oh, he's shooting at 21%. Is that sustainable? No, it is not.
It only has to be sustainable for 8 more games.
It's true. But this the aura I feel coming from this reminds me of Winnipeg and Washington last year, and how they were doing over expected. If Dewey's goes back to 903 save percentage, they're toast, right? They're done. Yeah. Can they win the division? Of course they can. If they keep rolling like the way they are, one line scoring all their goals for them and their goalie playing over above their head, sure they can. Will they? I doubt it. I don't see it happening again. If it's Buffalo or Tampa, it's probably going to take that spot, and whoever doesn't get it gets the Canadiens in the first round, and we'll see what happens. But I just want to throw some ridiculous numbers out there on why Montreal is winning, and is it sustainable? No, not the way they're playing, and they're fooling themselves if they believe so.
Okay, well, I have a part B and a part C here. Now, part B, having watched several of the Canadian games this year, how do they win when it seems like they give up so many chances? Are they keeping the high danger chances low? Is Dobish just that good of a goaltender? What's going on?
I guess I kind of answered those questions already, so I'll let Mike go.
Well, you did, but did you find? Well, I know
the game against Tampa. I believe Tampa outshot them pretty badly, like almost double.
The game before they were outshot badly too.
Yeah. So I mean, when the goalie's hot, the goalie's hot, right? So I don't think it's them giving up any less high danger chances than normal. So I just think, the goalie's hot right now, and they're scoring. So you put those two together, you're going to win games. Your goalie's on a roll. If you're scoring goals, then how do you lose, right? That's the key. So, but when mostly all of their goals are coming from the first line, it's probably unlikely that that it's going to happen. You put them in a playoff series, Tampa, Buffalo, whoever they're playing, they're going to put if they're playing one of those two teams, they're going to put a shutdown line on these guys, and they're not going to be lighting it up currently like the way that they are. So,
okay. All right. Now I've got one more part here. Now this is something I wanted to slide in here. Now with a 3-1 lead on Tuesday night and an empty net, Suzuki picked up the puck around center. I was watching the game at the time. He scored on the empty net. He made it 4-1. Now Caufield was right there with him at center, just a little bit beside him. Now, should he have passed it to Caufield, try and get him goal number 48? Mike, I don't know if you saw the play or not, but what do you think?
No, I didn't see the play. However, I would have thought that if the opportunity for him to make the pass was there, you would think he would. Kind of odd if he had that as an option that he didn't. Maybe they just wanted to. But here's the thing: I seen Garnet Hathaway on a breakaway and did not even get a shot, and then the Flyers lost the game. So I don't fault Suzuki for shooting the puck in the empty net whatsoever. If the Flyers miss the playoffs by 1 point, because of that game against Utah like 2 months ago, I'm going to lose my mind here. So, anyways, yeah, I don't blame Suzuki for shooting it in the net, but at the same time, and Caufield's going to get 50 goals now. I mean, how can he not get, what does he need, 2 or 3 more goals?
He has 47.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get the 50 anyway. So, this goal's not going to matter in the long run, I don't think. He's so close now that he's going to get other empty net chances, I'm sure. So he'll get his 50. So, moot point.
Chris, what do you say here?
Terrible, terrible captain. Terrible.
It almost looked like that Suzuki was apologizing.
That team knows where Caufield is, and then when the net is empty, the players know I'm looking for Caufield. Right? If I get an opportunity to give him the puck for an open net, I'm giving it to him. Yeah.
Well, there was a player in between them, sort of, but
and they're up 2, right? It was if they're up by 1, yes, you put it in to finish the game. If you're already up 2, you should be trying to find the guy. Yeah, surprising. Well, terrible captain. That's all I got to say about it.
There is one thing that I meant to look up, and I didn't have time to go over it, but I thought I saw a stat the other day on Sportsnet on TSN that was talking about how many goals the players have if you exclude empty net goals.
Mm-hmm.
McKinnon had 46 or 44, I believe it was. And I thought it said that Caufield, all of his goals, none of them were empty net.
None. Yeah, well, when you got a player like Suzuki, you're playing with him, and he's putting in the open net. Well, yeah.
I'd have to go back and check, but I'm just wondering if maybe he has this thing, because it was Brett Hall used to be the same way, right? I don't want to score any empty net goals. I know he used to pass it up to somebody else if he had the empty net chance, or he wouldn't be on the ice at all.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't watch I don't watch Montreal Canadiens hockey unless they're playing Carolina. Does he go on the ice at the end of games to protect a lead?
I don't know.
Do they sub him off for someone else on the wing?
He was on the ice during the end of that game.
But is that a normal? Is he
sure.
on all the time with like Suzuki line always on with the last minute or two, or do they sub him off for someone else? I don't know. Maybe a Montreal fan can comment in or say something like, "Oh, he's always out there, and Suzuki never passes him a puck," or "No, he's almost never out there," and that was a strange time, maybe trying to get that empty net goal. But I don't know.
Well, see, they did pull the goalie with quite a bit of time left, so he might have just been his turn to go.
He might have been out there already. Yeah. 2-goal lead too, right? It's a 2-goal lead. It's different than a 1-goal lead, right? Coaches tend to have their 5 guys that they want out there protecting a 1-goal lead less than a minute. And I suspect Caufield is probably not one of them, but again, I'm speculating.
Okay.
He doesn't kill penalties too, right? Does he kill penalties?
He does not.
Yeah.
So let's go on to our third topic. Maybe a Montreal fan can write in and let us know what's going on. So,
Or comment.
The Edmonton Oilers, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They've won 4 in a row for the first time this year. Now, that's without Draisaitl, of course. Now, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season the Oilers wouldn't win 4 games in a row at all until Draisaitl was injured, I would have told you that you were nuts. Now, have the Oilers really changed their system, and are they playing more defensively? Or has their goaltending just gotten much better and at the right time? So what's really going on here, you two? What do you think?
I see a combination of goaltending and their third, fourth liner scoring goals. Like they're starting to score goals. This is what happened in the playoffs last year, right? Yes. Where like Draisaitl and McDavid can't do it alone, and their third and fourth line guys were lighting it up in the first couple of rounds. We're like, holy smokes! And I think last game was Kapanen, and I can't think of the other guy. I don't even know who the other guy was that scored in the first period, right? And I was just like, yeah, this seems like the Oilers of the playoffs again. And yeah, they're getting just good enough goaltending to hold on and win. And that's what I'm seeing right now. I was surprised 4 wins in a row is the first time all year, but with the goaltending they received up till then, or I guess until recently, I guess it shouldn't be surprising. They struggled to put a big winning streak together, but
yeah, that's right. And I mean, when you look at the record, you kind of say, yeah, it makes sense that they haven't won more than 4 in a row. Because if you look at their losses, their overtime losses, I believe they're only one game over 500.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, Mike, what do you think? Are they just playing better defensively? Did their goalie get super hot? Do they finally have a goalie of the future going? What's going on?
Well, I don't know if they're playing a ton better defensively. However, Ingram has played pretty good.
He's
Uh,
played decent.
Tonight they're playing Chicago and Jari's starting, so we'll see what happens tonight. But obviously they've got to adjust their style a little bit without Draisaitl because he's one of their top scorers. So right now, like Chris said, some of the depth guys are starting to put a few goals in, so that's definitely helping them. I really don't. I mean, I don't watch a ton of Oiler games, but I watched a little bit, and I don't see any huge changes in their system, to be honest. But I mean, it is going down the stretch. They do know that they need to get some wins to get into the playoffs because I mean, it was close for a little bit. Now they've started to put a little bit of a gap between themselves and the teams that are fighting for that wild card spot. So I don't know if they just feel more comfortable and now they're just playing their style, or they did maybe just tighten it up a little bit, and that's made a bit of a difference. But I haven't really noticed, to be honest with you. So, but the one thing I do notice is that Ingram is getting some wins. So I mean, the goaltending is you know a little bit better, I guess, in that regard. And I guess the coach has already said that he's the starting goalie. It's not going to be Jari. So um,
It could have saved that cap room.
it's going to be interesting in the offseason what the Oilers are going to do here. Because clearly, if the coach doesn't trust Jari now, how can they trust them next year? So they put themselves in a pickle there, picking up his contract when they could have easily had just kept Skinner and then let him walk at the end of the season. So now they're stuck with Jari and his $5.5 million contract for another, I think, 2 years after this. So we shall see.
All right. Okay. Well, let's go on to the fourth topic. And this is something I was a little bit shocked about. I would not have believed this 4 weeks ago, but the Jets have somehow managed to get themselves back into playoff contention with a 4-3 overtime win against Chicago on Tuesday. 6-2-2 in their last 10. So that's pretty good. Pretty good for them anyway. The Jets seem to be heating up at the best possible time. Now, they're 2 points back of the Kings for 8th spot, 1 point back of Nashville and San Jose. Can they do it? Now, our old friend Craig Button from TSN, he thinks so. I heard him a couple night Tuesday night, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I think it's going to happen." He was pretty confident. The Sharks, though, they have 9 games left, and everyone else, including the Jets, they have 8 left. So the question for you guys is, can they do it? And how has this turnaround happened? And by the way, the Jets are 32, 30, and 12. Ouch. Mike, that's a horrible record, 32, 30, and 12.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
One thing that I will say is Hellebuck looks like he's back to his old form the last few weeks. So that's definitely made a difference for them. They're still getting most of their scoring from the first line. They're not getting much from the other line still. So I don't know if they can get the playoff spot just having the goals coming from the first line, but they've definitely made it interesting. I think I said a couple weeks ago that I didn't think they were totally out,
You
and they're
did.
not. The team that has struggled lately is Nashville because their offense has dried up pretty good here the last week to 2 weeks. So, and the Kings, I believe, passed them last night to take the last wild card spot away. So Stamkos is it seems to be the only thing going there for Nashville right now. Forsberg a little bit, but they're getting very little scoring from their depth guys now. So this is what it's going to come down to get these last spots is are your second, third, and fourth line guys chipping in because you can't just rely on the first line. Obviously, we're seeing an anomaly there with Montreal in the East, but here they need to get some. These teams need to get some scoring from the depth players. And now the other thing too is we all know that towards the last month of the season, that's where you start to see a lot of these interdivisional games. So lots of games against Vancouver and Chicago and Calgary and some of the weaker teams. Mind you, Vancouver started to look a little better the last week, and so is Calgary, which is kind of funny. However, these are the teams that they need to take advantage of. They can't be losing games against the bottom feeders. San Jose had a real big win last night, comeback win against Anaheim. Celebrini put the team on his back. I actually watched some of that game. They tied it late, and then they scored the game-winning goal with like a minute left, or maybe less than that. So I wouldn't count San Jose out. I mean, last week I might have, but they seem to have found another gear here the last little bit. So they might be the team to take that last playoff spot. LA, they've got a big game tonight, so LA needs to keep winning in order for them to have a shot too. I think Nashville's probably, and not to just go on about Nashville, we could go on about Seattle too. And we talked about Seattle 3 weeks ago, I believe, and said that even when they were in that playoff spot, I think we all agreed that they were going to sink like a stone. And sure enough, they've dropped out. So, and they're not getting back in the race. They're done. So Winnipeg, yeah, still think they have a shot. They're going to have to ride Hellebuck in the first line to do it, though, and not sure it's possible, but we shall see what happens with next week and a half worth of games. That's about all that's left.
Chris, what's going on in Winnipeg? How'd they make this turnaround, and can they make it in?
Yeah, as Mike alluded to, Hellebuck is playing like he can. But let's be honest here. This second wild card spot in the West is a race of below average, substandard teams.
Well, yes, when your record is 32, 30, and 12, yes.
32, yeah. So as you know, I am a big believer. That means they're 32 and 42.
Yes.
And they have a chance in the playoffs. The LA Kings, who are in the playoff, the last spot right now, 30, 26, and 18. My math tells me that's 30 and 44 games they've lost, and yet they are in a playoff spot right now. All these teams are like minus 25, minus 36. This is terrible. This is really, really bad.
The Western Conference, the bottom half of the Western Conference is bad. And like you guys were talking about earlier, and you didn't make reference to it specifically, but these teams that I've all mentioned from the West, and maybe Edmonton as well, they only have one line. They just have one line, right? Winnipeg, you said Nashville basically only has one or two people that are doing anything.
This is a race that probably goes down to the very last game, and there could be two or three teams that could probably, because of regulation wins, have the tiebreaker to get in, right? It could be one of these type of things, right? Down to game 82. And all these teams will be losing 3 of the last 5, right? And one of them's going to get that win. Get in. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it's not that bad that they lose 3 out of their last 5 and someone squeaks in that way. I hope that's not.
I think at least the last 5 and get in.
Well,
5 more overtime losses. I'm sure the Kings break a record.
I'll have to check next week to see what the record is.
Yeah.
So, Mike, did you want to add anything else to that, or?
No, that was all.
Don't ask me to pick a favorite because I can't.
Oh no,
I'm not going to pretend to tell you what team I think is going to get out of that. 4 or 5 good teams fighting for a spot.
No, it's like you said. It's the bottom feeders, literally. And I hate to say that, but let's just say Winnipeg does get in. I mean, are they going to be any real matchup for a first place team? I mean, it's not going to be much of a series, I don't think. No one's going to pick them to win.
The Kings probably. The Anze Kopitar thing is probably why people want to see the Kings get in. Celebrini is the reason why they like to see the Sharks get in.
Yes.
The Kraken, nobody wants to see the Kraken get in. Let's be honest.
Well, like Mike said, they have really no chance.
The
You guys were
Predators,
right.
I guess, Stamkos has got 37 goals. They got UC Juris. Maybe they could, you know, play a little bit of a spoiler. The Blues are right behind the Jets. But yeah, everyone else is out. But yeah, it's probably. I think the Kings and the Sharks are probably the two teams. I'm assuming the NHL and most fans would like to see get in.
Okay. All
I'm
right,
not
guys.
going to tell you who I think. Like I have no opinion who's going to make it. There's no analytics can tell you these two bad teams which one's going to be worse than the other going down the stretch. So
All right. Well, let's go on to our hockey profit. Let me try that again. Okay. Let's go on to our hockey profit segment where you two are the hockey profits, and that's because I say so and what I say goes. So, are you guys ready for some hockey profit questions?
yep.
Yeah.
All right. Number one, Chris. Carolina put the smack down on the Blue Jackets on Tuesday, 5-2, and they play again in Carolina tonight for a home and home series. If Columbus loses this game, the second game, are they pretty much toast because they've lost 4 in a row?
Yeah, the Rick Bonus coaching little push is starting to wear off. But even with the loss tonight, just because the Islanders have an extra game on them, no, it doesn't. It won't mean death and gloom for them yet.
Not yet. Close, but not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, number two, Mike. McDavid has 43 goals and 7 games left. What are the chances of him scoring 50 goals? Give me a percentage chance.
5. I don't see it happening. I don't see him getting 7 goals in the next 5 games or 7 games, whatever it is.
7 games, and they'll probably rest him at the end too.
And I got a feeling that they may rest him in the last
Yeah.
game or two, at least one of them. And I think you're going to start seeing that anyways a little bit more with some of these teams that are solidly in the playoffs, especially if there's no chance of moving up or down in their spot. So, yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't see him getting 50.
Okay.
David might not sit though, just because I'm sure there's going to be a push to get first and avoid Las Vegas, no matter how terrible Vegas's goaltending is.
Well, yeah, that's
Oilers
what
might
I
be
mean. Though,
forced.
like I said, depending on what the team's position is and whether they can move up or down, that'll probably have an effect.
Or maybe they want to play Vegas.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No. Vegas has got a good team. They've got no goaltending. That's the.
All right. Number 3, Chris. Dylan Larkin has 30 goals a game this year. That's 5 years in a row with at least 30 goals.
Mm-hmm.
His highest total ever is 33 goals in 23-24. Will he beat his all-time high with 8 games left? Can he get 4 goals in 8 games, basically, is what I'm asking you.
Detroit will need him to. Detroit's going to really need him to. So I'll say yes. He's their number one center. He's the one that's got to get them to the problem. He's the one that complained last year in the news conference after the season was done, right? Saying that he didn't find Yzerman did anything. Yzerman made some trades with getting Gibson, made some trades at the deadline, bringing in Falk. I think I shared that Falk and Sherratt pairing's been a disaster. And Yzerman gave Sherratt an extension a couple months ago, and we all laughed at it on Twitter, how terrible Yzerman is, and he keeps doing it. But, he's going to have to score some goals, put the money where his mouth is, because he was asking for help, and Yzerman, quote unquote, attempted to help him. So it's on his shoulders now.
Now it's on him, right? Okay. All right. And finally, Mike, number 4, and you're going to love this long question, Mike. So bear with me. The Flyers had a marvelous chance to be tied in that 8th spot in the East the other night, but unfortunately they lost to the Capitals 6-4 on Tuesday. The good news is that Columbus has 4 losses in a row and Ottawa has 3 losses in a row. So can this team find a way? Now, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings famously says, quote, "There is always hope," unquote. Now he says that to Haleth, son of Hema, a young boy from Rohan. Should the Flyers be watching this scene over and over again, Or should they hire Viggo Mortensen to repeat this line in the Flyers dressing room before each game? What do you what do you think, Mike?
What was that line again? There's always hope.
There is always hope.
Well,
Yeah,
Mike, I'll
well,
just let you know that hope is not a strategy, by the
yeah,
way.
exactly. Um, obviously, they
Well, for
don't need
Viggo
to hire
Mortensen, it
Vigo.
is.
They don't need to hire Viggo Mortensen to go over that. But you know, I don't know how the Flyers are in this. To be honest with you, aside from the goaltending's played really well the last couple of weeks. That's the only explanation. It's not like they're blowing teams away out of the water. I know they scored 5 goals against somebody there last week. They won a game 5-1. And the announcers were even saying that the 5 goals that the Flyers had got was the most that they've had in. It's been I don't remember exactly how long, but it's been a while since they've had 5 goals in a game. So all their wins are going to be, 4-3s, 3-2s. They're all going to be close games, likely to be overtime or shootouts because they've played so many of them this year. But yeah, they've got a chance, as good of a chance as the rest of the teams that are in this battle, I guess. It's all going to come down to the head-to-head games against the teams that they're in contention with, and whoever can get out of these games with the most amount of points is clearly going to be the team that makes it in. And with the Flyers, unlike the teams from the Atlantic Division, the Flyers have a chance to get the wild card spot or the last spot in the Metropolitan Division. So, because it's so close between the Islanders, Columbus, Philadelphia, Washington, I suppose. I think Pittsburgh's still going to make it. So, but that's, I guess, the added bonus is the Flyers have a shot at 2 playoff positions, where Detroit and Ottawa only have a shot at 1. So,
Right, right. Well, I thought I would throw that out there.
So hope is not a strategy, but rebellions are built on hope.
Well, that is true. That is very true. We see some stuff going on in the news right now that could lead to that. So,
fingers crossed.
all right. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to go over tonight? I knew it was quite extensive, but is there anything else? I wanted to say something else too, but I want to get you guys first. So.
We do. We want to talk about the best coach in the NHL returning to coach.
Torts is back. Torts is back.
Well, I figured that would come up.
Back on the winning streak now.
I figured that would come up and that I didn't have to mention it. So.
Yeah. And Carter Hart's back tonight too. So,
is he? I didn't know that.
My fantasy pool is back.
Former Flyers are back to save the Vegas Golden Knights season.
So does this make the Vegas Knights a better playoff team, or is it just too late in the season now to really change much?
Well,
Depends on what Cassidy was, if that was a problem with him in the dressing room or not, right? I don't know.
Well, I assume there was.
There's rumors that there was, that some of the top guys kind of grew tired of him, I guess. But I mean, you're bringing in Torts, who's notorious for having players get tired of his style, but. Maybe it's a new voice. Maybe they'll respond better. Torts has a way, like when he first went to the Flyers, the team played pretty good the first year that he was there, considering the talent level that they have for them to even be somewhat in contention and not completely at the bottom. So, I love Vegas for bringing in Tortorella. I'm a huge Tortorella fan to begin with, so I'm a little biased when it comes to that. But
yeah, just a little, just a
slight bit. So with it's definitely a different voice. So we'll see what happens. If the goaltenders can at least be somewhat competitive, that'll make a huge difference for them. And I know the last week and a half, the scoring has kind of dried up from some of the top guys. Like all of them have slowed down. Eichel, Stone, Marner, Dorofeyev, all slowed down. The thing with Vegas is they've been getting scoring from their depth guys, Riley Smith and Howden and some of these guys that Cole Schwint, like guys that aren't normally seeing a lot of ice time. The depth guys are the ones that are actually getting some goals, where the top guys aren't. So it's all how the top guys are going to respond to him is it's going to be the question.
And just I got to add to that, and I know I shared with you guys, and I guess we can speak about it quickly, is that under Torts, the Flyers were third best 5-5 offense in generating high danger shots, and then this year the Flyers are dead last. Right?
What?
I know we talked about.
What?
I know we talked about beginning of the season. I said,
Flyer games. They're all they're deadly in the slot. Deadly.
We're generating those slots, just getting there, there.
Yeah.
But I know at the start we talked about, was there a difference bringing Tocchet into Torts, right? Because I think from a high level, you think it's the same type of guy, but obviously, no, they're not. They got different systems, and maybe Torts does help his teams generate some offense because the Flyers generate a lot of good chances, and Tocchet showed up, and all of a sudden the slot's like a no-fly zone for the Flyers, pun intended.
Well, here's the thing, and it's since you bring that up, I mean, when Tortorella was with the Flyers, they were generating a lot of high danger chances. The problem is they don't have a lot of high danger scorers on the team. So, the Flyers are, when Tortorella was there, they had Konechny and Michkov providing the offense. That was pretty much it. Tippett, yeah, I suppose Tippett's been okay for scoring, but very few players that they have that have the talent to score consistently off of those high danger chances. Whereas Vegas, they've got a lot of talent up front. So if he can get a system like that going in Vegas where they're getting a lot of high danger chances, they're going to score a lot of goals because Marner and Stone and Eichel and Dorofeyev and whoever else I'm missing on that list, they'll benefit from it.
Okay, all right. And I also wanted to mention Celebrini. I believe he has 105 points.
Ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous.
Who would have thought? Well, he tied for fourth, I believe, in league scoring. Or not tied for fourth. He's in fourth. That's right.
Yep, he's a superstar, 19.
Nobody would have thought that he'd have 105 points this year, and he still has games left to give more.
Yeah.
So,
and I thought I saw online someone was sharing that he's got the biggest gap between the next scorer on his team. I can't remember what they were comparing it to. Yeah, I don't remember, but the gap is humongous, right? And I think they were comparing to other guys who had big gaps between teammates, and I thought he was one of the highest. And then they also talked about he doesn't have a Draisaitl. He doesn't have another star player with him, right? And he's doing this. So,
right.
Yeah, he's a legit superstar. I know there's some discourse about, is he a franchise player? I don't think people want to label that to him yet, but I'm just like, he's getting no help and he's doing this.
Yeah,
he's a franchise player to me. I'm sorry.
I think you have to call him a franchise player. I mean, come on, what more does the guy have to do?
Yeah. Just check their scoring leaders. Like, I don't even know who the next guy is on that team, but I'm sure, is it 40 points, 50 points?
And Will Smith, I think, has like 55 points. He's probably the next guy, if I'm guessing.
So that's a 50-point difference. Like, that's a one-man team. That's a definition of a one-man team.
Yeah.
That's definitely
I think Will Smith is number team. 2. So, and I'm not looking at the stats right offhand, but
and how many points did Will Smith get just for being there and passing the puck and Celebrini doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just thought I would mention that because, like I said, when you see a 19-year-old getting 105 points.
And Bedard has really struggled since coming off his injury. Bedard's, all his stats have really dropped hard again, just like last year, where he had a terrible ending, right? So,
Yep.
He's got still a lot to prove before he can get that designation.
I saw that I was reading today that McDavid in his second year, I believe he had 100 points exactly, 30 goals, 70 assists. So Celebrini actually has more points in his
I
second
think
year.
they were comparing Celebrini, if I remember, it was with Crosby on his second year. And then someone mentioned, well, Crosby had Malkin. So they were trying to say what Celebrini's doing is,
Right.
more special than what Crosby did because Crosby had another star in his team. Yeah,
Right.
I think if I remember correctly, I think that was the comparison. Him and Crosby's second year.
Well, let's go. We'll see if San Jose can beat these other teams. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there for tonight, gentlemen. So like, share, and subscribe, and we will talk to you next week. Later.
Later.
Later.